What's going on, guys? Welcome to my first Star Wars: The Old Republic video on this channel. This is from the beta, and this was a PvP Warzone. I cannot remember the name of the Warzone, but this is with some dual lightsaber action. I think I was level 13, 14 in this. I finally chose my specialization, and I went for the DPS dual sabers spec as a Jedi Knight. You can go to the tank spec, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go DPS. And this class is a lot of fun. If you're looking for fast-paced melee DPS action, this is one of the classes to go. The other one, obviously, is the Sith Inquisitor. But this class is a lot of fun. If you're one of those guys who likes tactical, choosing your targets, then this class is for you. Saying that, though, the Sith Inquisitor also is one of those kind of guys because of the stealth and stuff they get. But this, you can leap around on targets and stuff. It's kind of basically is a mirror of the warrior from like games like WoW and things like that. But it is a lot of fun. I really enjoy playing this class. It uses medium armor, so it's your standard melee DPS. I really enjoyed this scenario as well. I think I came top in damage or like third in damage. I think about half the scenarios I've been playing so far in the beta, I've either come top or I've been beaten by a bounty hunter or one of those sort of classes. So, but these guys are very good damage. I can do a lot of damage with these guys. Like I say, I've come top in like about half the PvP Warzones I've played. They are very good. Are they necessarily better than other classes? I don't know. It all depends about the player, really. Once you learn to play this class. I mean, I got very familiar with this class throughout the beta because this is the only one that I played in the beta. And I spent a lot of time looking at the abilities and thinking of what sort of combinations I could use. And there are quite a lot of different combinations to use in ability cycles. I'm not going to go through it all, obviously, because I haven't unlocked all the abilities. But once I hit the max level, which I think is 50, and I've got all the abilities, I'll definitely come up with some good ideas. And that's if I am going to play that class anyway. I still can't decide whether to play the Jedi Knight or the Sith Inquisitor, because the Inquisitor does look like an awesome class as well. But this scenario, see, I'm thinking about Warhammer Online still, because I'm so used to saying scenario, and this is called Warzone, so excuse me if I do say scenario. But this Warzone was really fun anyway, and the Warzones in this game are just really fun. I was expecting them to be quite boring, like the ones in Rift were just fail. But in this, they are really fun. And there is a clear objective you have to do, and it encourages killing the enemy, but it also encourages doing the objective as well. Because if you don't do the objective, for example, then you are going to lose. Even if and the other team is still going to get more points, even if your team just stood there killing the enemy for the whole game. Which is one thing I really like, because if you look back at scenarios in Warhammer Online, your team could lose a scenario, but you could still get almost triple, quad the more points than the enemy team if you just stood there killing them over and over again. And in this, that doesn't really happen. If your team has to win to get more points, you have to play the objective to get the points, to get the stats that you want to look good, to get the points to spend on the armor and whatnot. Obviously you need to kill the players to get to the objective, but that isn't what rewards you the most. What rewards you the most is playing that objective, which also involves killing enemies. Unlike in other games, though, I think you don't get currency for killing each enemy. So if you look back at like World of Warcraft or Warhammer Online, you got X amount of renown for killing an enemy or X amount of honor points for killing an enemy. It doesn't really work like that. As far as I'm aware, I may be wrong though, so do correct me if you do know more than this. But as far as I'm aware, it's based on the amount of, not necessarily the amount of damage you do, but more like killing blows and like playing the objective and things like this. It's not based on how many players you've killed, sort of thing. The scenario, the one thing that does more worry me though about Warzones is the level range. Now, in this, in the first level of Warzones, it's levels 10 to 20, so it can be quite out of balance. But saying that though, the first Warzone I played was a level 10. And I didn't even choose my specialisation at that point. I only had one lightsaber, and I was still only level 20s. So I don't know if that's just because they were really bad players or whatever. I mean, I'm not saying I'm a good player, but yeah, I think it was just because they were maybe bad players. I don't know, or maybe it is just because there's some sort of balance buff that you get where you're all equal levels within the Warzone or whatever, and it just shows what level they actually are as a character and not what they are in the Warzone. I'm not sure about that. But that was quite interesting, and it may off-put some people, but really, you don't really notice. You know, if you've got a good enough team, you've got a good combination of players, you're going to win, even if they are much higher level than you. And it is down, a lot of this PvP is down to skill and not how good the class is. I mean, I know it's really early in the game, not even the full game's come out yet, so I'm sure, and you know, after the few months of the full game, people are going to come up with decent specs that are very powerful and do out damage a lot of other classes, but I don't think it's not all about that. I think a lot of player skill does come into play when you're playing PvP in this game, and a lot of it is like battlefield awareness and certain things like this, which is also coming into play in Warhammer Online a bit. A great example is in Is a class in the range classes, like Bounty Hunter, for example, uses the cover system. Things like this add a whole new level of gameplay to the game, and I think it really does make it much more compelling to play and much more fun. And again, it adds skill, you know, being able to know what abilities to cycle through, and it is just a lot more fun. It's a lot more challenging. Playing the Jedi Knight in this Warzone, going back to this Warzone again, I really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed playing all the Warzones. Even when you lose, it's still fun because you can still kill players. Obviously, again, you know, once the full game's out in a few months, we will start seeing those guild pre-mades coming out. But hopefully, you know, the thing is, in WoW, in the battlegrounds in WoW, I never saw like any guild pre-mades just running and farming each other. You may be losing really badly, but I never saw them camping the spawn like they do in Warhammer Online. Warhammer Online, this is the big problem in scenarios. Pretty much every scenario just turns into a spawn camp. In this, it doesn't happen. In WoW, it didn't happen. So I'm really happy because I was kind of worried, you know, is it just going to be like Warhammer Online where you just get spawn camped each Warzone? But it really doesn't happen yet. It'd be interesting to see if it does evolve into that in the full game. Hopefully it doesn't, and I have a feeling it won't do. I think it's going to look more like WoW's PvP, where it doesn't turn into a spawn camp, and you know, even if you are losing to the enemy team, you can still get some sort of kill out of it if you group up together, no matter how good the other players are, or no matter how good the if it's a pre-made, etc. like that. But that brings an end to this game anyway. As you can see there's a damage list. I didn't come top in damage. I think it was third I came. The other two classes that beat me were a Bounty Hunter, so it just goes to show it's not all about lightsabers. You know, those range classes really can do a lot of damage. But I hope you enjoyed this gameplay anyway. Please rate the video if you really enjoyed this and you want to see more, and also make sure you subscribe to see these videos as soon as they release. I'm planning on doing a lot of Star Wars Old Republic videos over the next few months, especially after the release. It's a really fun game, and yeah, expect a lot more videos from me anyway. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.